Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Bible Thumper Podcast, where somebody's got to say it. My name is Patrick Hayes, your regular host, and with me tonight in the studio is my beautiful wife, Joanna. Joanna, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Really good.
Good. Really good.
Yes. We had a great weekend.
Yeah, we had an exciting weekend.
Mhm.
We went down to Montrose, and me and the older boys played in a pickleball tournament. We don't need to talk about the results any. And all the younger kids got to play in the rec center down there.
Yeah.
They have, climbing wall and swimming pools and all kinds of stuff. So then today was mostly work around the house.
Yep. We got caught up, cleaned up, took a nap.
That's great. I'm glad you did those things.
It was so nice.
I got to teach my oldest and second oldest son how to change the oil in their car.
That was great.
That was
so
good.
glad you did that.
Yep. And then I got to show my third oldest son how to mount rings and a scope to a rifle, which is also an important skill.
Yes.
All right. So before we get too far into the podcast, I got to remind everybody, please go to BibleThumperPodcast.com. And from there, you can find our podcast everywhere that you listen to a podcast. Along with that, you can find a link to our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. And if you like this podcast, even a little bit, even if you've liked it one time for a minute before I made you mad and swore it off forever, please go to my YouTube channel and subscribe to that. It helps get these videos in front of other people. And as far as a podcast, please rate it, like it, share it, comment on it, whatever you can do. It helps get this podcast in front of more people. Okay, so Joanna, we were going to talk about money and children. So how much do you think you could get for one of our children on the open market?
Yeah, when you gave the title, that's what it sounds like.
So we wanted to talk about the idea of how to teach kids about money, what to teach them, and when to teach it to them. And we have a little bit of Bible to go along with that.
Right. And where were we going to start? Like when they're younger?
That's what I was thinking. We should start off with
chronological.
Yeah. Let's just start from when they are a newborn. So the most accurate way you can describe having a newborn in terms of money is piling up as many $100 bills as you ever seen in your life and lighting them on fire.
Right.
And then every couple of weeks, you just add shovelfuls of $100 bills to that pile that's still smoldering.
Yep. Diapers, baby food.
So my thought, as far as, because we're really not talking about, how much kids cost and stuff like that. We're talking about how to teach kids about money. So my first thought that I had was this thing that I think is a terrible idea. It's anti-biblical. And so many people in America do it, and that is the allowance.
Yeah, I don't even know where that came from. What's the Bible verse? If you don't work, you shouldn't eat, or something.
So that's not talking about children, believe it or not.
Well, yes,
although I wish it was. I wish I could extend that to children. But the concept is that you only get money when you work for it.
Yeah.
The whole idea is that, no, you are not just getting money because you exist. So the allowance, I don't know where it came from. I don't know where it started. But the idea is that we give our kids money for no reason whatsoever, just because they need some walking around money. And I don't know what age you start this at, but I think it's a terrible idea at any age. What we're doing is we're training our kids to have something, to get something for nothing. And they already get plenty of that in the realm of being taken care of. My parents love me, therefore, they feed me, they clothe me, they give me this place to sleep. But the idea that we're just going to give you extra money on top of that you can spend on, or I shouldn't even spend, waste on nonsense, is a terrible idea. And what we're doing is we're training our children to not respect and not value money because it just shows up. I don't have to do anything for it. It
Yeah.
just comes at regular increments before every weekend. And I think that's a terrible idea.
Yeah, that's what I had in my notes. It's not teaching them real life.
No.
And
Yeah.
it depends. It's not teaching them in a way
What real
that it
life should be like.
Right. And
Sure.
yeah, I mean, what I was referring to is if you get them in the habit of, you don't want them to become a productive adult and then decide they're not going to work. And that's what you're referring to in the Bible, talking about how if you don't work, you shouldn't eat.
Yes.
But
You brought
don't
up that
wanna-
verse.
Yeah, not
Okay,
referring.
you're the bad guy.
Yeah,
I agree with that
yeah.
verse.
I'm not referring to children. You got to take care of
Yeah.
children.
But the way you get there
Yeah.
is by being lazy and not working and not knowing the value of a dollar and thinking that
Exactly.
it just comes to you. And one of the problems we have in America today is we have too many horses that got unhitched and we threw them in the cart.
Mhm.
And the number of horses left pulling the wagon isn't really able to make it up the hill quite as well anymore because there's
Yeah.
too many horses in the cart. And that is a problem we could talk about on another
Sure.
day, as far as how the Bible works and how God's system, a welfare system, works. Because God has one described in the Bible, and lo and behold, it is nothing like what we do in America today. That's why
Yeah.
America's system is broken, is because we're not doing God's system. But with the allowance, we are training kids to disrespect money
Yeah,
and not
that's a great
value
point.
it. Now I'm going to give you another one. If people didn't like that first idea, they're really not going to like the second one. I don't think you should pay your kids for any chores they do around the house.
I agree, and I wrote that down also. That maybe is what I'm referring to. It doesn't teach them real life things. You don't get an allowance when you're an adult from who? To do
Yeah,
your own
For
laundry.
for mowing the
Who's
lawn.
giving you this
Yeah,
money?
no one's paying me.
I think that they should learn this is what you do when you live in a house.
Yep.
You just do it. You don't do it for money.
Mhm.
You do it so that the home functions well and
Yeah.
the thing keeps going.
Yeah, you're part of a family, and this is what is required for the family to work. Now, I know a lot of parents that are really stressed out, and the reason they're stressed out is because they do all the work.
Yes, I do
They
too.
do all the laundry. They mow the lawn. They trim the hedges. They
They clean their
pull the
kids'
weeds.
rooms.
Yeah, they clean their kids' rooms. That is insane to me. If you are the parent that cleans your kid's room, don't ever say that. Don't ever tell me that. Okay, don't say that to my face. I don't want you to see me throw up because I won't be able to hold that back. That is insane.
Yeah.
That is like holding up a banner saying, I am a lousy parent. I'm not even trying to train my children. Now, I do understand, especially the younger they are,
Yeah.
the harder it is to not want to clean their room because you could have their room clean in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
For them to teach them how to clean their own room when they're little, you're giving up like 4 hours of your day.
Right.
And I understand that that's insanity.
Well, and we still do that with our teenage boys.
Mhm.
This isn't clean.
Yeah. Yep.
It's got to clean,
This
Mom.
doesn't count. No,
It's
no,
not-
it's not. Let me show
Yeah.
you, what we missed.
Right.
Let me show you what your wife's going to expect of you one day. So anyway, there are lots of parents that do everything in their house and they are super stressed out about it. And we've talked about this before in previous episodes. There are certain years at which your kids can be doing certain things around the home. At what age can a kid start doing their own laundry and washing, drying, folding, putting away their own laundry?
I
What do
mean,
you think?
You really could make that happen at 6
Uh-huh.
if you got them a step stool.
Uh-huh.
They're not going to do a really great job until
Sure.
8, 9.
Okay.
I mean, 10 for
Like
sure.
10 years old, if they're not doing their own laundry, you are failing. And really, what you're doing is you're hurting yourself. You're the one that loses
Mhm.
because their laundry is going to get done either way.
Yeah.
It's going to be on your time or it's going to be on their time.
Yeah. I mean, Grace is 10. I haven't done her laundry for a long time.
Yeah.
Patrick, I haven't been as good at and diligent on
Sure.
me
Yeah.
to train him. So It's hit or miss with him.
But the
Yeah,
idea
he
is
could.
still at 8 years old, if you wanted to put in the time and energy, which is a lot of time and energy,
Mhm.
and I understand why people don't want to do it because, again, you're giving up 4 hours to teach
Yeah,
them how to do
it's
something that could take you 30 minutes. That's, I think, a reasonable ratio. And you're going to have to give up 4 hours and train them several times before they get it and they're doing it well. And then even when they can do it well, then you got to stay on them until they finally outgrow the dragging
Yeah.
their feet and complaining about it stage. But if you're willing to do that, you won't have to do their laundry for the next 8 years
Mhm.
while they're living in the house. They'll do it all.
Right.
And you can even have them start doing the laundry of the younger ones.
Yeah.
You know,
Done
they
that
can
before.
start doing all the laundry.
So, but you don't pay him for it.
No, you don't
Yeah.
pay them for it because they're part of a family.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what it takes for a household to work. So many times I get asked, how do you guys do it with 6 kids? And I always tell everybody, I say, we have to run the house like we're a drill sergeant. We can't just let our kids do whatever they want. They'll run all over us. And that's the same in a house with 1 kid or 2 kids or 3 kids or however many kids you have. If you are not training your kids, it's going to feel out of control because it is out of control. You have to put in the time. We just had to put in the time a few more times. But I will tell you this, and it works the same way with dogs. When you have little ones and when you have an 8-year-old and they see what the 12-year-old is doing and the 12-year-old sees what the 16-year-old is doing, they are able to learn by watching. And when the older ones all do it, the younger ones just get in line and start following along. You still have to train them, but they understand what's expected. They see it.
Yeah, that's exactly been the case here. I mean, actually, some days it doesn't work out, but
Mhm.
overall, it's easier.
Yeah.
If the older ones are doing this, then positive fear, right?
Yeah. So either way, we agree. An allowance, getting paid to do chores that are just part of the family,
I think that hurts someone overall in their life
absolutely
because
does.
it's a false reward that
Yes.
you're not going to get. And you should develop that habit earlier. Like, this is what we do.
Yep.
This is how, Yeah.
The sooner you can break kids in to working and
yeah.
making them hard workers, the better off they are.
Mhm. Yeah. It's not a shock when you
No.
get older and, oh no, I have to.
So do you
Do
know
stuff.
that animals that are meant to be work animals, and by this, let's refer to a few different types of animals. So horses, because horses can be ridden for pleasure. They can be ridden for barrel racing and rodeo. They can be used for several things. And one of the ways we use horses is to have them be work animals. The same with dogs. When you are training animals to be work animals, you want to start that as young as possible
Mhm.
to get them used to it. And then it's not a big deal. You don't take a horse that just grazes and you ride it on the weekends and all of a sudden hook a plow to it and expect it to be a workhorse every day in the field for the rest of its life. You want to get going with that as early as possible. And it's the same with the kids. As early as you can get them working, the better.
Mhm.
And here, and I know this is supposed to be about money. It's not
Yes.
supposed to be about
Right.
kids and working, but it also gives the kids self-respect and it gives the kids value. They see that they've accomplished something. They have self-confidence. They have value.
Mhm.
All right. So, any more about allowance, or can I bring up our
Yeah,
next
do the next
idea?
one.
All right. So, the next idea is a job. As far as kids getting a job, the question is, when should they get a job? What type of job should they get? Is it okay for kids to work? All of those questions.
Yeah, and I mean, my somewhat experienced opinion is as soon as they can. And I mean, I would say our Joseph is 12. I wouldn't send him off right now. But if MacArthur, he just turned 14,
Mhm.
and he's pretty mature, 14-year-old. I wish if someone would hire him, I would let him get a job now.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's case by case,
Mhm.
but certainly by 16,
They have
every
to be out there
kid
working.
should be working.
Absolutely.
And, something in my notes, what I noticed here, I don't know if you noticed this, But so we have a bunch of teenage boys. When they get to a certain age, 13, 14, 15,
Mhm.
they get up in the morning, do their chores and their schoolwork, and they're still bored.
Yeah.
They need to be kept busy and
Mhm.
I think not just with playing outside,
Oh, yeah.
more than playing outside. I
Yeah.
think they need to work for
Yep.
their self-worth,
Yep.
and they're little tiny men.
Yeah.
And you've told me men need to work.
Yeah.
I am seeing that in our 14-year-old. He is bored out of his mind if he's not working.
Yeah, and they get moody.
Yeah, he's yes.
They're a
They're
lot
getting-
happier when they're
Mhm.
working and they're working hard and they're physically sweating. That God made kids to be that way, especially boys. I don't know about girls because I'm not
Yeah,
a girl,
We'll
but
see what happens with our daughter.
yeah, I can tell you as far as boys, by the time they're 12 years old, they do a lot better if they are working hard and sweating every day. They got to burn
Right.
some of that energy off.
I've noticed that, and I've noticed that doing a job of some sort, helping us outside, accomplishing something
Mhm.
is better than even sending them out for physical exercise, like
Oh, yeah.
playing sports.
Yeah.
They can go, they play football a lot and pickleball,
Mhm.
but I noticed a change in their attitude, and this is anecdotal, but I noticed
I don't think it is.
It's
Oh
probably
no,
proven somewhere.
no. There's Bible behind
Okay.
it. But go
They
ahead.
just seem to do better overall if they've been working a certain percentage of the week
Uh-huh.
for either pay
Yeah.
or with you or on a farm task if you can't find anyone to pay them yet.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think, definitely case by case, but if at 14 years old, I would say in my experience,
Mhm.
if employers would hire them, I would let them go work for pay.
Yeah.
But, it's hard to find somebody to hire them at that young age because of insurance.
And that's the problem that you need to overcome. So for Joanna and I, the one great blessing that we've had is that I've been self-employed. And that comes with positives and negatives. But I think far and away, it is better. I can't imagine the negatives could ever outweigh the positives. It's been so good for us as a homeschool family because I also work construction. I'm taking the kids at 11 years old, 10 years old, and I'm taking them to work with me. And they're learning you got to get up early. You're going to pack a lunch. You're going to be gone away from mom. You're going to be gone away from the house. We're going to lift heavy things. We're going to learn what the names of the tools are in the truck. We're going to learn how to deal with customers. It's been really good for them. And guess what I do with the kids? I pay them.
Yeah, it's great.
And and here's the thing. So we're talking about as young as 10 years old for sure. And I only, so by 10 years old, I think it's great if the kids can work somehow and make money. And there's more reasons than just they feel good about themselves. Once they have that money, then you can start training them.
With the money.
You
what
got
to
it.
do with the money. Yeah.
Because you're ready for this, then this is terrible, but we're going to get to it sooner or later. When you are in a church and you're sitting there and they pass the basket around and mom and dad gives each of the kids $1 and they all throw $1 in the basket, what is that teaching them?
Well, nothing, because it doesn't hurt you at all to
You
give that
got it.
dollar away.
They don't have any skin in the game.
I did that. Mom, give me money. Thanks. Put it out from back.
Yeah, and you feel good. Oh, I feel like everyone
You
else.
got more money?
And when we were in church, okay, we would tell our kids, nope, you got to work to get money. Then you get to give it to God. And they felt like they were missing out.
I didn't know you did that. I
Yep.
forgotten that.
So all of a sudden they have this idea like, oh, I need to make money so I can give something to God because look at everybody else that's doing it. So without money, without them earning money, you can't train them how to handle money because it doesn't count if you give it to them. They're not losing anything. When they earn money, all of a sudden it's like, oh boy, this thing I want to buy, man, it took me a day and a half to earn this much money. Do I really want to spend it on junk?
Right.
So you want them earning money as soon as possible. We had the kids coming to work with me. If you can, depending on where you live, you might have to have your kids mow someone's lawn in the neighborhood. You might have to have someone walk some dogs in the neighborhood. You might have to have them do those kind of
Yeah.
jobs, but that's fine.
You
That's
can
still,
find something.
you got it.
You know.
There's absolutely something that kids can do. The only problem with that is that by having the kids work for dad, I can be like an Egyptian taskmaster over them, cracking the whip and making them work hard. So then when they go to work for someone else, they're worth something. As opposed to if you start your kid out and the first time he ever mows a lawn is for someone else, well, guess what? They're going to say it's terrible and he's going to get fired. So you need to still train the kid, at home. He has to have chores at home that he does so he can get used to working. And then you introduce him to, look, if you do the same skills that you have, that you learned here at the house, you can go across the street and do the exact same thing, but they will give you money for it.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be thrilled.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's great. Yeah, I'll mow your lawn. Can I get on the roof and clean your gutters too?
I can't tell you how many times on Facebook I'll see people asking for yard work, and no one with a regular job or a lawn guy isn't going to want to rake up someone's leaves. There's a lot of little odd jobs.
Yeah. Where they need a kid from the neighborhood. They're kid from the neighborhood jobs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, not everyone has your circumstances, but
no, and
there is a way that,
absolutely,
you can find something.
You can shovel snow, you can rake leaves, you can mow a lawn, you can walk dogs. Like there are things that kids can do in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. If you live in the country, guess what? You don't need this podcast.
Yeah.
Because your kids are working hard already.
Right.
Right. They're going to be fine as far as getting a job and earning money. All right. So where were we? We were talking about, so jobs.
That's my humble opinion on
get a job as soon as possible. Let me give you some Bible for this. Let's see.
Yeah, good. Bible would be good.
Okay. Hard work and its reward. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 4. He becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand, but the hand of the diligent maketh rich. Okay, you ready for this, folks? I'm just going to say it. Lazy people are poor.
Yes, they are.
Hard workers are rich. That's what the Bible says. So if you're going to be lazy, you're going to be poor. Now, there might be some poor people out there, okay? Or there might be some, poor people out there that aren't necessarily lazy. And there might be some rich people out there that really don't work as diligently, but they're an exception. The rule is poor people are lazy. That's why they're poor. Rich people are rich because they work hard. That's it. I don't know if you ever heard Steve Jobs. One of his quotes was, opportunity and luck look an awful lot like hard work and discipline.
Yeah, there's something like that.
And I'm sure I'm butchering the quote. But you can look it up. The idea is people. You ever hear the phrase "luck favors the bold"?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I think so. Yeah.
People are like, "Oh, well, they got lucky with that deal." No, they took a chance.
Mm-hmm.
They took a chance on the deal, and the deal worked out for them. They didn't do well because they're lucky. They did well because they kept taking chances, and one of them turned out really well.
Well, and you think about that. Even if that verse isn't 100%, you're saying some people are working hard, whatever.
Sure.
If you get up and you go to work, the chances are you're going to have more money.
Yes, than if you're lazy and you sleep in and you don't work. No, and that's the rule it's explaining. Yeah. The Bible in two other spots that I know of talks about the ants. The ants are a people not strong, yet they prepare for their meat in the summertime.
And they have no overseer.
You got it. It says that, to consider her ways and be wise, which having no guide, overseer, or ruler provideth her meat in her season, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
That's what you got to remember is, you want money, go to work. And this is the crazy thing. I don't have time to go through all the statistics, but what I can tell you, and I can back it up with statistics for anyone that thinks I'm crazy. And by the way, if you think this part of the podcast is crazy, number one, you're the lazy moron what we're talking about. Okay. That you are it. If this is making you mad, you're the lazy person, that is worthless. So anyone in America that gets up and goes to work 4 or 5 days a week even if they make minimum wage, the odds are somewhere between 60 to 80% of people that go to a minimum wage job are no longer working minimum wage by the end of that first year.
Yeah.
They've already moved
That's a good
out of
point.
that and they've gone on to something better.
Because they get promoted, they get raised.
You got it. They get
something.
Absolutely.
Right.
Okay. Anybody who works a minimum wage job and puts away $500 a month, which is maxing out your Roth IRA.
Mhm.
You start doing that at the age of 18. You do it all the way till you're 65. You never get a promotion or a raise your entire life, which is impossible. You will still retire with over $1 million in the bank
Yeah.
at minimum wage.
I did not know that till Dave Ramsey talks about that. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Didn't
Every
even
financial
realize.
guru does. I
Oh.
mean, he's my favorite.
He's the one I heard it from.
Yeah. We're Dave Ramsey fans. Okay. But you can run the numbers. It's
Yeah.
easy. So the idea of money is that you go to work and then you're smart with what you get.
Right.
You save, you're on a budget, you invest.
Yeah, there's a couple of steps you
Yeah.
need to.
You got it. Hard work and wasting all your money is also stupid. And guess what? Lots of people fit into that category. I know rich people, the people that make an amount of money that make me sick to my stomach when I think of it. And they are living paycheck to paycheck. So you can still be a moron and a very rich one. But what we're talking about is if you want to avoid that, you have to start with your kids and you have to teach them to work hard and understand the value of a dollar.
Yeah. I had a Bible verse, if you don't mind, that I really like.
Yeah, jump in.
Proverbs 24. The sluggard will not plow by reason of the cold. Therefore shall he beg in harvest and have nothing. I don't know why I like that verse. God has the funniest word, sluggard.
Oh, yeah.
I imagine this person on the couch who kind of lays like a slug.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yep.
And because it's cold.
Yeah.
He won't go outside.
I don't want to
it's
work.
cold.
It's cold.
So he's going to be begging.
Yep.
In the harvest time. In harvest,
You got it.
you have so much food.
Yeah.
When it's harvest season, it's
You can't even eat it all.
Yeah.
You cannot eat it
our
and can
garden,
it all. Yep.
If you're begging during harvest season, you are the lowest
You're an
of
idiot.
the low.
Yeah. It's like, what have you been doing all year?
I don't know. Does anyone listening to us, are you around a farming and agricultural area?
Yeah.
Are you a farmer? Are you a gardener? You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Zucchini. There's so much zucchini. You get sick of it.
You can't
Peaches,
give it
I
away
mean,
fast enough.
So you're begging during that time?
Yeah. That's impossible.
Anyway, I love that verse.
Absolutely.
You're a slug. Don't be a slug.
You know,
Sluggard.
the old saying is you got to grow hay while the sun shines.
Yeah.
You know, what that's talking about is not just agriculture. When there's an opportunity to work, you need to be working. And that's why
right.
so many self-employed guys, they struggle taking time off because the idea is, well, work can dry up, work can slow down, weather can change, holidays are coming in, it's hunting season. I'm not going to have time to work every week, so I better work while the work is available. And I think that's a great principle.
Yeah.
You know, you can overdo it with how much work you're doing. You can work too much and neglect time for yourself and your family and God. That can happen. And it certainly does happen with some people. But that's really not the group that we're talking about.
No.
Right now, we are talking about kids and kids having to learn the value of a dollar. Something I tell my kids all the time, you know, they're like, oh, Dad, I don't feel good this morning. I don't care. You're coming to work with me. Okay? I go to work when I don't feel good all the time. Not feeling good is not a reason not to go to work.
Yes. And moms do the same thing.
Yeah. Guess what? Your mom gets up and works around the house and takes care of you kids every single day.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how she feels.
Right.
She has to do it. Somebody's got to do it. Okay. Because these kids aren't going to, you know, stop filling diapers just because you don't feel good. You know, you have to go to work. I tell the kids constantly, I'm like, you know how often there's not a year that has gone by where Dad has not gone to work with broken fingers. So got to go to work. Doesn't matter. You know, not feeling good isn't a reason. Oh, it's cold outside. I don't want to plow the field. Shut up.
Yell at them.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. Okay, so let's see. Went over a little bit of
yeah.
Bible. One of the kind of foundational principles that we're talking about here is Proverbs 23:7. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he.
Mm.
We want the kids to have this concept, an idea of money, and having a desire to make it and a respect for it, and that we want them to value it. There's nothing wrong with that.
No,
I hear so many people talking about, oh, money is such a bad thing. No, it's not. It's not a bad thing.
Christianese, they misuse that verse. It's evil. It's evil.
Oh, it's the root of all evil. No,
it's the wrong.
The love of money is the root of all evil. The love of money, not money. Okay, we should want money.
We need money.
Yep. Sorry, we need money. Okay,
right.
That's the system we're in. So what you're doing is you are trading labor for money. And I know this is a little over the heads of any children, as far as dealing with kids and money. But when you read Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations, which for those of you that don't know, Adam Smith was a gentleman who was an economist and wrote books leading up to the Revolutionary War. He was instrumental in us starting and fighting the Revolutionary War. And he wrote a book. He actually wrote 5 books. They were compiled into one book. The name of that book is Wealth of Nations, and you should read it. You should it's a great book. Everybody should read it. In that book, he explains that the basic currency that we all get down to is labor.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's at your house or whether you are doing it for somebody else, you are trading your energy and your time for something.
Right.
So that's what we're really swapping. Now, what we've done is we've placed a dollar amount, an amount of fiat currency for an hour of this type of labor versus an hour of that type of labor. But at the end of the day, we are trading our time and our sweat equity for money. Okay, so if we're going to be spending our time doing something, that's what we get in return. There's nothing wrong with money. Money makes the world go round. I think money is a tool, and that tool can be used for wonderful, wonderful things. But you have to earn some in order to use it for God's purposes.
Yeah. Good points.
All right. So anything else on kids and jobs and if and when? Oh, here's another one.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what I'm going to say. I was working a job for this farmer. And typically I would never do this. But he said, Patrick, I need a new roof on this house. This is like 15 years ago, back when I used to do roofs. I do not do roofs anymore. If anyone is listening to this podcast, do not call me and ask me to do your roof. I will laugh at you before I hang up the phone. So back when I was young, I used to do roofs. And this guy said, Patrick, would you come and do this roof for me? And I said, yeah, I can do it. But, I'm a one-man show. And he said, no. I got 2 guys that, will work for you. I just need you and your compressor and your nail guns and your knowledge. And you can tell these guys what to do. And I said, they'll do a fine job. They'll do all the heavy lifting. Is there any way you'd be willing to do that? And I said, yes. So I show up and I get on the roof and there's 2 high school kids standing there. They both must have been 16, 17 years old in cowboy boots. Okay. On this roof. And I'm like, hey guys, what are you doing here? And they're like, yeah, whoever said, he's paying us to work with you and do this roof. I was like, all right, let's go. Let's see how this works. These 2 kids they could work circles around most adults that I've met. Okay. These were hard working kids. And I was talking to them and I was like, yeah, where are you guys from? What do you do? Yada, 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 and typical, like, getting to know you chit chat, hey, do you guys play sports? And one of them was like, what the F would we do that for? And really? I was like, well, you're high school age boys, like a lot of them do. And he's like, yeah, we're not going to be playing sports the rest of our life. We're going to be working.
No kidding.
Oh yeah. That was both of them. That was their answer. They're like, what are we going to learn from sports? They're like, as soon as we're out of high school, we're going to work a job for the rest of our life. Throwing a baseball ain't going to help us. I was laughing so hard
I could never would have expected that.
because so many parents
Oh, my
put
Lord.
all this time and
Yeah.
energy into helping their kids throw a football, throw a baseball, kick a soccer ball, shoot a basketball. And it's like, guess what, folks? After high school, that's it.
Most people are done with that stuff.
Absolutely.
What, 99%?
It's the numbers
to
are
be.
so outrageous. The odds are you're not even going to be able to do it in college. The odds are you're not going to be able to go to college and get free college. You're not going to
Yeah.
get you're not going to get
A scholarship. Yeah.
for a school. What you are going to do the rest of your life until the day you retire or die is work.
Mm-hmm.
And the sooner you learn how to work hard, the better you are.
And learn to like it
Yes.
because you need to.
You got it.
You can't it can't be this shock where you
No.
haven't worked, you've been babied.
Yeah.
Your parents have been catering to
Yeah.
your sports needs and you're the
Yep.
star.
Yep.
I don't think that's healthy.
No.
And then
And
suddenly,
we're going to give
hey,
up our
welcome.
summers and drive all around the state and let you travel around and play baseball or football, and
Yeah,
we're
I
going to
mean-
support that. It's like, who are you raising? Taylor Swift?
And Travis Kelce.
This is,
So you're raising.
what are we doing?
I
This is
don't.
insanity.
And then what happens when, it's real lifetime?
Yeah.
Good luck.
Oh, by
I
the
don't
way,
like
you're
this.
done with high school. You can't make it in college. And,
Yeah.
now we need you to work while you go into school. And you have no idea what this is like.
Yeah, I'm not for that at all.
I'm not a fan either. I think the best thing you can do is get them working, immediately. On top of that, and I'm just going to say this, I hate the culture we live in where everything stops when the Broncos play football, where everything stops when, your
So
NHL team
guilty.
plays.
I was sitting there watching. I
You
did
fell
stop
asleep
everything.
during the whole game.
I watched part of it. Go ahead.
And there's nothing wrong with watching football. Okay. I
I
understand
know what
that
you
a lot
mean.
of that's fine. Okay. Everyone has a hobby. What I'm saying is we have built it up into practically idol worship.
Well, that's
Rather
like
than-
church for some people. It's the church.
You got
replacement
it.
for church is football.
And I hate to tell you, the person that we should really admire is not someone throwing a pigskin down a cow pasture.
Yeah.
The person we should be admiring is the farmer that wakes up before sunup,
That's right.
and works hard 6-7 days a
Yeah.
week to feed his family and feed the nation.
With no fanfare and not one person except the cows watching
You
him.
got it. So
Yeah,
that's
agree.
that's one more thing that just bothers me. It's like, what are we doing? We're putting an emphasis on stuff that is absolutely temporal. It's going to fade away. It's just nonsense. I think kids should go to work. I think kids should go to work early. I think they should learn how to earn money, handle money. I think it's going to be better for them than anything else they could be doing with their time. All right.
That's all. I don't have
And
anything to add
every
to
single
that.
thing you can tell me about playing sports. Oh, well, playing sports, the benefits are this and this and this. You get all of it from working.
Oh yeah, and then
You
more,
get up early.
way more than
To work. Okay. You put in the time and the energy and and you sweat and you have to work physically hard. You do that at work. Oh, well, there's teamwork. You do that on a job site. What are you talking about? That's what a job site is. When you're on a job site with 10 other guys, you have to learn to all work together. Oh, who's the boss? The foreman. He's like the captain. He's the coach. That's the owner of the company. It is no different. There's no special skills that you learn playing sports that are absent
well, and
from the
so
workforce.
going to work is reality,
Mhm.
whereas sports is a false, made up reality.
Yeah.
It's not. That's not going to take place in your real life.
Yeah, guess what? The rest of your life, no one's going to cheer for you.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Oh yeah.
Just
Virtual
get up
reality.
and shut up and go over there and dig a ditch, and nobody's going to give you a high five for it.
Mhm.
Okay, there's no band playing. There's no group of, girls in mini skirts jumping around cheering for you. Okay, that's not reality.
Yeah. Exactly.
Reality is shut up and get back to work. Oh, your hands are cold? Work harder. They'll warm up. All right.
What was next?
Next is tithing. So for your children, you can't teach your kids to tithe unless they are
earning their own money.
earning their
Right.
own money. Because guess what? The idea behind tithing is it's severalfold. Number one, it combats covetousness. The 10th commandment is the only commandment of the heart. All the rest are sins of action.
That's
The
true.
10th
Yeah.
commandment is a commandment in your heart. And we combat that by tithing. Because we want. Well, guess what? If you didn't tithe, you could have a lot more of what
Yeah.
you want. Your discretionary income comes out of your tithe.
Yeah, you don't have.
It's
No,
the
that's
extra
good, yeah.
money at the end. Right?
Right.
Our budget is 90% of what we make. That last 10% is not required to keep the lights on. It is not required to put food in the fridge. It is the gravy at the end. That's the extra stuff that we would be spending on vacations
All
and
kinds of stuff.
snowmobiles and whatever you want. Whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's where you get the extra. Oh, have you ever seen so-and-so? They just have such a nice outfit. They always have new clothes. Well, they probably don't tithe.
Yeah, I've
Okay.
thought that before.
No, maybe they just make bundles of money, and God bless them if they do. I'm all for people making money. All right. Because guess what? Poor people don't hire me to remodel their house. Okay. That's just a fact. So God bless people if they make a lot of money. But what you find is that let's say I want a brand new Indian motorcycle. Oh, they look so cool. Oh, I've seen them and my friends have them, and boy, I want one. Well, guess what? If you didn't tithe, just take that money that you would give to God, save it up for a couple of years, brand new Indian motorcycle. So that combats covetousness. Along with that, it helps God and it helps your pastor know where you are spiritually, because Jesus said, where your treasure is, there shall your heart be also. And if your treasure is not going to God in your local church, where is it going? It's probably going to one of your hobbies.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan of hobbies. Okay. I like hobbies. We like hunting in this family. We play pickleball. Okay. Everyone should have a hobby, and you should spend money on your hobby. Hopefully your hobby brings your family together. Those are the best ones. Okay. But you know what? Maybe your wife's a miserable old crone. She's just a witch. Okay. So you play golf because it gets you out of the house for the entire weekend. I get it, fellas. Okay. No, I don't play golf. All my hobbies are with my family. I'm not against hobbies. Okay. What I'm saying is that where you put all your money is an indicator of your heart. And God knows that. He said that. So if we're not tithing, well, we know that spiritually we are missing something.
Yeah. Can I read one of my favorite Bible verses?
Yeah, give it to me.
Malachi 3:10, King James Version, of course. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house, and prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. So I think to myself, if I didn't teach my kids this, look what I'm robbing them of.
Yeah. You're
How
denying
messed up
them.
am I?
Yeah.
I'm a terrible person and a parent if I don't teach them. And this has happened in our life, and we've used this as a teaching example. This has happened to us over and over and over. We have been given so much stuff, so many kids' clothes. Look here. There should not be room enough to receive it.
Yeah. We literally would be giving away all the clothes that were given to us for our kids when we were first married, little kids' clothes. We couldn't fit it in the drawers. We couldn't buy enough bins and shove it in the attic.
Always.
So we were giving it away. How many pianos have we given away since we've been married? At least 3.
I think 3, literally.
And we got to a point where we finally started telling people, no, we're not taking a piano.
I don't know why. We are, anyway.
Constantly giving stuff. Every
year.
How many boxes of peaches are we giving? So, I mean we like can't 50. Even give them away fast enough.
And they're expensive.
Yeah. They're wildly expensive in this valley.
So much stuff. And then there's there's curses too, right? If you don't, I don't have the verse for the curses on your money if you don't tithe. And what are you doing if you don't teach your children this?
People really don't believe the promises in the Bible. They don't believe what the Bible says.
Sure, so they're not doing it themselves, baby.
Correct. So I always explain it like this. Malachi, what is it? Chapter
3:10.
Chapter
I
3.
think, yeah.
I pronounce it
Right.
Malachi,
The Italian.
the Italian
Look at the-
prophet who makes you an offer you can't refuse.
Yeah.
Right? He
Yeah.
says, so when you go through the entire Bible, there is only one place in the whole book where God says, go ahead and try me.
Mm.
That's it. There's one spot, and it's with the tithe.
Yeah,
God
he
says, go ahead and prove me now herewith.
prove me.
Yep.
Yeah,
Go ahead, try it.
prove it.
And every single person that I know that has legitimately said, you know what, God, I'm going to try it. They've all come back and said, wow, I wish I was doing this sooner.
Well, in the picture, he opens the windows of heaven and just pours out so much you can't receive it. I don't know who wouldn't want that.
People seem to forget that God owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. God, I remember, so you know that they value gold based on the amount that there is in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And they know how much gold is dug up, and they believe they know how much gold is in the ground. And they believe
Really?
they know how hard it is to get the gold. And they value gold based on those numbers. They do the same thing with diamonds because they're commodities, but they're not commodities like, produce, okay, which
Renewable.
you got it. And we
Yeah.
have good years and bad years, and they
Yeah.
change. Okay, they're commodities that they believe we know how much is, in the world. God owns all of it. And God can give it to whoever he wants, whenever he wants.
Mhm.
He can take it from one place and put it in another at any time. God is the same with, like I said, cattle on 1,000 hills. Okay, God is the same with produce. God is the same with dollars. God is the same with vehicles. God is the same with property. God is the same with God can fill up your storehouse with whatever he wants. And whatever he fills it up with, you literally will not have room to hold it all.
Right.
You'll have to rent a storage unit if you start tithing.
And it's a act of, you have to trust and faith. You have to
Yes,
step out in faith. You're giving away some of your money.
absolutely.
I wanted to mention, if it's okay, it's the point that when you're teaching them as a child, they're going to have an easier time doing it when they're older, because think of all the things that you did as a kid. What were you trained in? What were the habits
Mhm.
your parents bestowed upon you? It's easier.
Absolutely.
You get in the habit of whatever,
Old dog, new tricks and whatnot. It
And then-
absolutely
yeah.
is. Across the board.
especially as in your childhood. I
Yeah.
find you get ingrained with things, good and bad,
Yep.
that are really hard to shake when you're older.
Yes.
Whatever it is,
Yep.
bad habits, yelling, good habits, exercise, brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
All of, for me anyway, some
Yeah.
of the stuff my parents taught me, I haven't been able to shake it to this day.
Yep.
If that makes sense. So
No,
teach them when they're younger.
absolutely. You want to get the lessons in as early as possible. That way it won't be difficult. It won't be weird when they get older. I say this all the time. You want to get your kids in church.
Yes,
You want to go to church
absolutely.
and have your kids in church so that none of these concepts are weird to them when you get older. Because, guess what? You got back into church. Why? You saw that there was value in it. You saw that something was missing in your life.
Mhm.
You saw that God and the Bible and the preaching of the pastor, these things are good for me. Well, you want to get your kids used to that as soon as possible. Throwing them in the mix when they're 40 years old and they have zero experience is a lot harder.
Yeah.
Just get them taught and trained up properly when they're young. Okay, so that is the idea of the tithe. We would teach our kids from the very first time. Now, and here's the other thing. This is kind of a segue into the next one. It's their money. Okay, it's my kids' money.
Mhm.
So grandma and grandpa give them $20 when they're whatever. First birthday, $20. Every
Yeah.
year they get $20. The worst thing a parent can do is take out a $20 bill, go, there you go. It's from grandma and grandpa. Have fun with it.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
As soon as they get money, we can teach them. Here's the tithe. This is what you're going to do. We're not going to give you a $20 bill. We're going to give you 20 singles.
Mhm.
And we're going to teach you. You're going to take these two and you're going to bring them to church and you're going to put them in that little plate that they pass around, that little box in the back or whatever it is. Then what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, here is the way we handle money. Now, for us, we have no problem telling our kids, this is how you have to handle your money.
Yeah.
You don't get to say, you don't just get to spend as much as you want. We would teach our kids 10% goes to God, okay, in the offering plate, in the offering box, go to church. That's where the tithe goes. Then we would say, okay, 50% of that you're going to save.
50% of what's left.
Of what's
after the
left.
tithe.
So 45%, 10% goes to
Right, just to make it
God.
clear.
Yeah.
Oh, I fell over.
Well, hold on. Okay. Sorry,
My
there we go.
camera fell
Yeah.
down.
Okay. Are you still on?
I'm probably on. Okay. Good
Okay,
enough.
we're back. There we
I
go.
tilt my head like that the rest of the time.
Okay, so where was I going? Okay, so 10% goes to God. You have 90% left. Half of that is 45% that you have to save.
Mhm.
You don't get to spend $1 you save without Dad's say so.
Okay. Of your savings.
You got
Right,
it, of
okay.
the money that you're saving. And what we're learning is we're going to start racking up money until there's something that's important.
Mhm.
And what we started doing with our kids from a young age is having them invest. So they would have to invest in whatever. Okay, when we would have that conversation. Dad would help them, walk them through that. But our kids all of our kids have money invested, even Patrick. The other 45% you can spend. You can spend on whatever you want. You can waste it. You can just lose it. You can flush it down the toilet. And let me just prepare you. Your kids are going to waste their money on garbage.
Food and candy.
You got it. Even when they get older. Okay.
Mhm.
But they are going to. And that's going to be the next lesson you're going to teach the kids. The next lesson is, okay, because some of our kids, they get money and they spend the tithe, okay, or they give the tithe to God. They put the savings money in a box or a jar or an envelope or whatever it is. And then what do? Then they take the savings or the spending money and it's just gone. Like the
Mhm.
second mom's going
Oh,
to
yeah.
the store. Can I come to the store? Can I come to
Right.
the store? I got money. I got to get rid of it immediately. And they just buy
Yes.
the first thing they have. And what I will usually do is I'll watch them waste some money and then I'll mention something that I know they'd really like. And I'm like, hey, did you see this?
Oh, you
And they're
wait till
like,
after.
wow. And I'm like, yeah, you probably have enough money for that. And they're like, oh no,
That's kind of mean.
I spent it all on bubblegum and I gave it out to my brothers and sisters and all the kids in the neighborhood. And now it's all gone. I'm like, really? I just gave you that money this morning. So I would do that.
It's a good lesson.
Yep. And then we'd have to go through it a few times. And then the other thing that I'd do is I would show them something that was worth 5 times more than the money they just wasted. And I'd be like, man, wouldn't it be great to have one of these? And in the same way, finally, I would break through and they'd be like, okay, I'm saving up for this. And they would save up for their own bike. They would save up for a PlayStation. They would save up for, a car.
Mhm.
They would save up for something that was important.
Good lesson.
But you have to let them burn through money and just be morons. And then, then they have buyer's remorse. They have this regret, which I think is great.
That
Okay.
is, experience is one of the best teachers. And how many of us as adults have done that? If you can teach them now with the $20 that
Mhm.
grandma gave them.
Proverbs 21:20. This is about saving. There is treasure to be desired and oil in the dwelling of the wise. But a foolish man spendeth it up.
Ha! I've never heard that verse.
Yeah, when you're a fool, you just You cannot wait to spend.
Spend,
Yeah,
spend.
just spend money.
That's what happens to all the lottery winners.
It does. Most of them go bankrupt. Most
Man,
of them
it's
are
crazy.
financially worse off 1 or 2 years after they win the lottery than they were before. And here's why. So number one, the lottery is a tax on poor, stupid people who are bad at math. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Number two, the people that play the lottery usually have horrible spending habits, which is why they're wasting money on lottery tickets. And when they get a whole bunch of money, all they do is expand their horrible spending habits. None of it goes into a Roth IRA. None of it goes into real estate. They just buy wave runners, and then they got to buy a truck to pull it. And then they got, they just spend it on nonsense.
Well, part of that is more of an issue of lack of self-control.
Yeah.
Which you can help your kids with their money.
Yes. When you're training your kids with their money, what you're really doing is you're helping them control their emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Because, man, they have this desire. They just want to spend this stuff.
Yeah.
And what we're learning is that it doesn't matter how bad we want something. We have to be able to tell ourselves no.
Yeah.
We have to fight that desire. So our flesh is going after this thing. In this case, it's some Chinese, made piece of plastic garbage that we found at Walmart that I want, right? And I have to fight this desire from my flesh to want this new shiny thing and say, no, I have a plan. And I'm going to save up and I'm going to buy this thing that I know is going to be better for me. Something that, I know is going to be worth it.
I will say with our 16-year-old, with his spending money, there is one thing I want to do because he's been buying a lot of soda and candy. And I'm going to step in and tell him it's becoming a health issue. I'm going to tell him, look, you can't have more than this many sweet beverages or something. Because, yes, he comes home from work and there's an empty Pepsi can.
Yeah.
Like 4 or 5 days a week. And I'm concerned,
And he can afford to do it.
He can,
because
and it's in the
working
allowed area of money spending. But I'm going to pull the parent card and say, you can't buy more than whatever, this many sodas a week, or I'm going to ask him to.
Yeah, we gotta stop this. You're developing a bad habit.
Yeah.
And here's the deal.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to tell everybody this because I know a lot of parents are thinking, I don't have the right to do that. Yes, you do. Okay, you're the parent. You can do whatever you want. Parents in the Mennonite communities here in town, whenever their kids, so they will bring their kids to work as young as they can to get them working. A lot of them that I know are in the lawn care industry. Mm-hmm. So several of them would bring their kids out. They'd have 10-year-olds doing on these ride-on lawnmowers, running around, running a weed eater. Yeah. Oh, everybody does. Everyone's like, oh, that's so great. If your kid ends up going to work for someone else in the community, because a lot of times, let's say you have several kids and you're a little bit older, you're in your 40s, and, one of your neighbors, who's also running a lawn care company, but him and his wife have, a newborn and a 1.5-year-old. And it's like, well, I need some help. You will have your kid go to work with this guy, but you as the parent get half the money.
Huh. Yep. Half their money. Well.
And and the way it works is, no, you're contributing to this family. Now you as a kid are still getting paid whatever, $10 an hour. Mm-hmm. And as a 10-year-old, let's face it, you don't need any money. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but the parents will say, nope, typically the way it works is the parents will get half and that money will go to support the family.
And I think that was so commonplace, how many years ago?
Yeah.
50,
yeah,
60
absolutely.
years ago?
Yep.
When
it wasn't weird.
No. When my dad was 12, his father died from complications of a car accident back when his rib punctured his lung. It was years of lung issues.
Wow.
That's what he died from. Mm-hmm. They didn't have any life insurance, and he'd been sick for so long. They didn't have very much money to begin with. His mom, himself, his younger brother. That was it. So she told him, you need to get a job and help us. At 12.
Yeah.
And he went down the road. There was a gas station where they used to gas station / garage. They'd fix your cars.
Yeah.
The fella knew of their situation. He didn't need any help.
Mhm.
He gave my dad a job, and my dad had to give all the money to his mom and brother.
Yeah.
They didn't have any money.
Yep.
So he went down, and his mom let him ride a little, not like the motorcycle, like a little moped.
Yeah.
Without any license, and he was supposed to have one.
Sure.
And she said, "Well, I need you to work."
Yeah. So here's
he
what we're
rode
doing.
without a license. He
Yep.
said, "If they pull you over, just explain the situation."
Yep.
And then he had to bring home all his money and pay for food and stuff so they could,
Yeah.
We have it so good these days.
Absolutely.
Why, I don't see anything wrong with that.
No, and for us, when the kids would work for me, I would pay them slave wages because the value they got out of it was not money. They learned how to work hard. And right now, our 16-year-old, he works with fully grown men pouring concrete every day, and they all love him there. And
Yeah.
he shows up and he works hard and he stays off his phone. And, everyone just thinks he's doing a great job. And our 15-year-old, he works up at a farm, where they deal with produce, mostly, fruit and peaches. And they all love him up there. And it's the same thing. He works hard. He shows up on time. He stays off his phone. Everybody loves him. That is the value of coming to work for dad. Now, as kids, they also got some money. And because I gave them money, they were able to save up and get themselves, some nice stuff that you got, that they wanted, which was wonderful. And I'm glad they were able to do that. And they were able to earn money rather than, just, us buying them everything. We were able to teach them how to tithe. We were able to teach them how to save. We were able to teach them the value of a dollar. There are a lot of lessons that we were able to teach them because they were working. They didn't need to go to work and make money as little kids, and that wasn't the goal. It wasn't for us to, make extra money. They did help the family by going to work and helping dad with projects that he needed another guy for, and them being able to do it was a huge blessing that got to move our family forward. So everybody was helped out in this situation.
Well, and they reimbursed me for gas when they only had their permit.
Yep.
And I was driving them to work.
And right now, if you think about it, the idea of it's their money, I don't have the right. Okay. Our kids, when we would drive them to work, they would pay for the gas. Currently, one of our kids is 16 years old. He bought his own car. He pays for his own insurance. He pays for his own gas. He just literally today went out and bought the oil and the oil filter and, changed his own oil. Along with that, our 16-year-old already has a Roth IRA and contributes $500 a month to that, because he understands the value of investing. Our 15-year-old is ready to start his Roth IRA. I already have the email from our financial lady, the paperwork that we need to fill out so that a 15-year-old can start a Roth IRA, and he's ready to start contributing $500 a month.
Yeah.
So our kids, I'm going to say, have been doing really well with money. But it didn't come from nowhere. We started at a very young age and with purpose had a plan and trained these kids. And that moves us into our next point, which is we got our kids on the Dave Ramsey homeschooling class.
Yeah, it's for anyone looking, look up Foundations in Personal Finance is the name of the curriculum. Or you just go on his website and click around.
You got it. So on his website, just Google Dave Ramsey and you can go to the store and you can find that. But say the name of the class again.
Foundations in Personal Finance. But you can.
And that is tailored to, high school age kids. So we have taught several of the principles as our kids were growing up, but they are all going through this
it's a
class,
homeschool DVD
homeschool
set.
curriculum class where they learn all of this stuff.
Yeah, fabulous.
When Moses, our 16-year-old, when he was 15, he came and asked me, he's like, Dad, how soon can I start investing?
That's crazy.
You know, because he saw
Yeah.
the value of it, and he understood that with investing, you let time do the heavy lifting, compound interest. He started to understand these concepts, and he's like, I need to start this as soon as possible. You know, if I'm going to be rich, I got to start doing this now.
You want to hear something funny?
Sure.
One day he's doing class. He comes to me, Mom, banks are evil. I'm like, well, yeah.
I agree.
15 and like under 16. They are, but what did you learn in class today? He's like, I learned about credit cards.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. 20% interest is the average interest rate throughout America on credit cards. What I would always explain to the kids, I would say, hey, what's that tall building over there? Go to any city. Pick any city in America. Find the tallest building. I guarantee a bank owns it.
Bank of such and such.
You got
Bank of this, yes.
Banks own it. And they own it off of the interest, off of the backs of hardworking Americans. They make it off of interest. You want to hear something crazy? Just because, you know, I'm going over this now. Let me see if I can find it. So as far as credit cards go, if you get a credit card and you have a $2,500 balance on that credit card.
Okay, $2,500.
$2,500, and we're assuming that the interest rate is 20%. You know, which is you know your average. Okay,
that's average.
Oh yeah.
Oh my word.
Yeah. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, in this scenario, we're gonna assume a 16% APR.
Okay.
So your annual percentage rate is 16%. $2,500 balance on the card. Now, you never use this card again.
Okay.
You never buy anything else. The charges never go up.
Okay.
You are going to pay nothing but the minimum.
What, like $25?
So the minimum is typically going to be 2%.
Oh, okay.
So 2% of the balance. Then you would be spending about $50 a month on minimum payments.
Okay.
Guess how long it takes you to pay off that $2,500?
No.
Minimum payment on a 16%
do my
credit
math
card.
More quickly. 2 years.
What's your guess? What?
2 years?
Nope. A little higher.
5?
Higher.
Higher?
Huh?
10?
Higher.
What?
Come on.
No way. 20?
Yeah. Higher.
You're kidding.
22 years.
For $2,500?
$2,500.
Because of the interest.
Because of the interest.
And how much are they getting?
So that it's in those 22 years, they're going to get about $6,500.
Yeah.
So you are paying $4,000 in interest. So that $100 meal that you could not save up for and buy, you just put it on the plastic.
Mm-hmm.
That meal that cost you $100 actually costs you $260.
Wow.
Because you weren't willing to save and learn the value of dollars. That is why we teach our kids about money. We don't want them falling into that trap which so many American Christians cannot figure out.
Oh, I know.
You know, it's unfortunate, and I hate to say it, like, you know, and I'm gonna come down hard on all these pastors that will not teach their people about money. Of course, we have a financial seminar that we're planning at the beginning of the so I feel like a hero, you know, so I can point my finger at them, all of those guys, you know,
pastors.
But it's unfortunate, you know, that these things aren't brought up.
I was just going to say, people need help. They need taught.
They do. Pastors need to teach fathers. Fathers need to teach their families.
Right.
Okay. That's what needs to happen. I mean, don't get me wrong. If your kids don't know these things, it's your failure as a parent. That's my responsibility. That's what I have to do. And don't worry. Remember, if you don't teach your kids anything, you'll get a chance to do it all over again with your grandkids when your kids dump your grandkids on you. Yeah. Oh, I know people that are going through
left
that.
And right these days.
Yeah. They hit 60 years old and they're like, yeah, we're planning out a trip to, what? What do you mean? Huh? We have to take care of them? Oh, yeah. And they get grandkids dumped on them. Yeah. And then, there goes your senior years. Mm-hmm. You get to try again. And one family that I know that comes to mind because their customers are mine, they're failing just as bad with their
No.
grandkids as they were with their kids. But either way, okay. So, with that Dave Ramsey class that we got our kids going through,
I would tell everyone to get it, whether your kids are where they are in school.
Yeah.
Just get it, do it at home. It's so worth it.
No, I cannot recommend the Dave Ramsey program enough. Once in a while, they will have audiobooks. So Dave Ramsey's one of his, most famous titles is his Total Money Makeover. Okay, that's one of his books. He has a workbook that goes with it. It's a very good, helpful, lays out the program. It's a great book. I own it. I've read it. Once in a while, he will have a sale and he'll be giving out, you can buy gift cards that you can give away to other people. And on the back is a code, and you scratch off the code and you enter it into like the Google Play podcast, whatever, and then you can download the book. So once in a while they'll sell those, and like so then the hardcover book is like $22 or something, and the audio book is like 20 or something like that. And once in a while you can get like 10 of them for $20.
Yeah, that's great.
And I'll buy like 10 or 20 of those cards. And as I run into people that I know that are, especially young people, college age kids, or a high school kid who's got his head screwed on straight, I'm like, here, listen to this. It will change your life. This is, right after the Bible, this is the most important book you'll ever read. And I give those things out all the time. I'm going to get a bunch of those, for our financial class, to give out as prizes and whatnot. But they're so valuable. So everybody should get on that. It's going to get you on track, and it's going to teach you what to teach your kids. So even if you're like, oh, well, Patrick, I'm a failure as a parent, but I want to do better. What do I do? How do I start? Get Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover. It's a great start.
Yeah, learn it yourself.
There you go. Learn it yourself and pass it on. Hey, ready for this? Get on my YouTube channel and watch on Wednesday nights in January. And you can watch for 4 weeks in a row. I'm going to go over finances, everything from A to Z. We're going to cover everything. And bottom line, you can, start teaching your kids this. There's going to be a lot of statistics and facts and colorful pictures. And, even the dumbest one of my listeners will love it. So with the Dave Ramsey class, start your kids on a retirement plan as soon as humanly possible. Get them interested in that. Okay, here's one. Bills. What bills do they owe you?
Well, we went over with, our oldest, 16, right? He pays gas, insurance. He bought his car.
So he's paying those things for himself.
Yes.
Prior to getting your own car, you have to chip in. And what we would do is, like, we don't make money on our kids, but what we do is we say, okay, if we're driving you to work from the house to there and back is this many miles, we get this much gas, but we get this many miles per gallon. Gallon of gas is this much. We do the math. Every day you go to work, you owe us this much.
We did that with Moses.
You got it. That's just part of working.
And with him, it was like 23 miles one way.
Yeah, because he worked. We were on the east side of the valley. We had to drive all the way to the west side of the valley.
2 hours of driving. Yeah, it's crazy.
So they had to pay that. We're still giving you all of our time.
Yeah.
But you're going to pay for the gas. And again, we weren't making money on our kids. We're teaching them a lesson that this costs something. And because it costs us something, it's going to cost you something because you're working.
Right.
We're not driving you across town for school, and charging you for that. You're working. You're making lots of money. So you got to pay some bills.
Yeah. And
that comes with working.
And I don't know. I don't recall what else we did as far as we didn't bother him for if there's any maintenance on the car.
No.
It was mostly gas reimbursement.
Okay, so here's another one for you. And this is one I'm going to tell everyone. You don't have to do this, but if you want, you can apply this to your family and it will solve some problems. I was like this close to doing it. I still might pull the trigger one day. It depends. So, we have 6 kids. And what I was going to say is okay, if you kids can't learn to turn the lights off, then you're going to be responsible for a percentage of the utility bill.
Well, I do like that. If they can't keep the lights off,
You got it. How long do you think it would take before they all got in line? They would start shutting lights off
30
on their
minutes?
brothers and sisters when they were reading. You bet.
Uh-huh.
30 minutes.
Yep.
They'd be like,
Oh, I
nope,
don't wanna
not
waste
doing
my
that.
money.
Yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. We're going to get this thing down.
Mhm.
In the same way, okay, we just had a situation 2 nights ago when our dog was not put in his crate. And what he did was he spent the entire night sniffing around the farm and barking every time the wind blew. And it woke me up. And I told the kids, okay, here it is. This is an easy one. From now on, when the dog's left out of his crate and he barks and he wakes Dad up, I'm waking up the 4 older boys, and you're all getting out of bed and getting your shoes on, and you're all going outside, and you're going to find him, and you're going to put him in his crate. Okay, that's the new deal. I am not leaving the house. And I don't care if it's the middle of winter and there's snow on the ground.
Mhm.
Okay, that's what's going on. Again, how many times do you think they're going to forget to put the dog away at night?
They won't.
They won't.
They'll walk him
Or it'll happen
once.
one
Yeah.
time and they will never do it again.
Right.
So I'm a big fan of that. I don't see a problem with that. If your kids, just don't respect electricity, what they're doing is they're not respecting a dollar. They're not
Mhm.
respecting your dollars. And for a dad, so we're a single income family, right? Now you do certain things and make the house money from home in a few
A
different
little
ways.
bit, not much.
But for the most part, we're a single income family. So when they're wasting money, I look at it as you are causing me to work more hours for your wastefulness.
Yeah.
So for
that's
me,
true.
okay, you guys are going to pay for it. So split it up. Give the kids a percentage, whatever you want. There you go. Better come up with the money. Oh no, you don't get lights this month. You couldn't pay your bill. We're unscrewing all the light bulbs in your bedroom. Anything that takes electricity, you don't get it this month.
Yeah.
They'll learn.
Yeah.
That'll change them real fast. Okay, so now, if you don't think I'm a bad guy yet, give me another chance, and you are going to think I'm a bad guy in 2 seconds. The plan, and I explained this to the kids. I went over it with the older 3 kids so far. I said, here's what's going to happen. The day you turn 18, you are going to start paying Dad rent. What we're going to do is we're going to give you your own bedroom. You're going to pay Dad $500 a month in rent. We're going to come up with a meal plan. This meal plan is only going to include dinner. If you want, you can eat dinner with the family every night of the week. Breakfast and lunch are your responsibility. Okay, you have a job. You're going to provide for your own meals. But as far as dinner, we can work that out. We can say, okay, it's going to be X number of dollars for the month. You get to eat dinner, every day of the week. Now, right out of the gate, $500 a month in rent is cheaper than any kid is going to be able to find rent anywhere in this valley. They are going to be able to live at home with the purpose of saving up money so that they could put it on a down payment of a house.
Yeah.
And they can move out and they can move forward with their life. Now, if you say that's horrible, you don't have to keep the money. As a parent, you're going to save the money, throw it in a savings account. We don't need the money.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to keep it. But a lot of people don't keep it. That's fine. I'm going to take it all and I'm going to throw it at my mortgage. So that way, when my house is paid off, the last thing that we owe anyone money on, okay, I will have this much more money every month and I can use that for whatever I want, including helping our kids when they are trying to start a job or get married or whatever they need. Okay. But I'm a cheapskate. If you love your kids and you're not a cheapskate, don't keep the money. Don't tell them you're saving it up for them and you're going to give it to them. Put it in a money market account. Excuse me. You can find them online. Go to Capital One right now. Look at their 360-degree, savings plan. CapitalOne.com. 4.3% a year. Just throw it in that.
Yeah.
It's liquid. You can get it out whenever you want. There's no minimum balances, no fees, no nothing. Okay. Take $500 a month, just throw it in there. Keep throwing it in there and leave it there. Give it to them the day they get married. Give it to them when they are looking to buy a house. You know, it would be great.
Yeah, surprise them.
Okay, here's one for you. You're their parent. Do you know what you know about them that they don't know you know about them? You know their social security number. You know their
Yeah.
date of birth. You know all the information. You can open up that bank account for them in their name.
I guess so.
Now, I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
Yeah, I
So
was gonna
remember,
say, I
ha, ha,
don't
ha, 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 we're just joking. But ready for this? What's the hardest part about buying a house when you're young?
Credit,
Okay.
right?
Credit and
The down
the
payment.
down payment. And the problem with the down payment is that you can't just have rich Uncle so-and-so hand you $50,000 cash and you throw it into the bank and you tell the lender, oh, I have the money, because they're going to see when the money showed up and they're going to say, what is this? They want to see that the money's been in an account that your name is on for so long.
Mhm.
So if they see that you've been saving $500 a month in this money market account with your name and social security number on it, when they go to pull your credit, it's going to show up. And they're going to say, wow, look at this. You only have $30,000 and you've been saving this from the time you were 18 years old. And you can tell your kid, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I've been doing that for you with this, you know, rent that we started saving when you were 18. You lived in the house for 4 years while you, whatever, you know, went to college or were working a job and saving up in order to, you know, buy a house and, you know, marry the girl you love and whatever. And we've been socking it away for you in this interest bearing account. And now all that money's still there and it's for you. You can do it whatever way you want. I don't care. I'm just giving you some ideas. What I told the kids I'm going to do is you're going to pay me $500. You're going to get your own bedroom. We were going to buy a second refrigerator, and we were going to, with that rent, you're going to get space in that fridge. Okay, so these bottom two shelves are yours. Okay, you're providing your own breakfast and lunch. You can do that however you want. Dinner is going to be on us with this meal plan. Okay, included in that $500, you get electricity and heat and air conditioning and all the stuff. You get all the stuff that it's really good. It's a good deal. And they're going to want to do it. It's going to help the parents, because I hate to tell everyone, but by the time that your kid is 18 years old, you've already spent like $30,000 on this kid. Okay, with meals and sneakers and doctors and everything, like that's easy. That's what you've burned up on this kid. So now that they are in, you know, their time where they have a full-time job and they're making money and they're figuring out what they want to do in life, they can rent from you. They can do it cheap. It can go into whatever you want. Money you're going to give to them can pay off your mortgage, get you closer to retirement. Okay, whatever you want to do. You're going to get a fridge. They're going to be able to rent so much out of it. You're going to plug it into the, you know, in the garage or wherever you have space. They're going to get on another meal plan. You're going to figure out the math and say, okay, if you want to eat dinner here, it's going to cost you this much more a month. And bada bing, you're ready to get going. And whenever you want to move out, that's fine. You can move out. Now you're going to sign a lease. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. And you're going to make it legitimate. And that way, and what you're doing is you're, again, helping train them for the real world.
Yeah, I get that. Mm-hmm.
So that is what I already told our three oldest. That's what we're going to do when you turn 18.
Sounds good to me.
And if we ever get tired of you, we're going to evict you. We're going to kick you on out. You get your own place. I hope you've been saving money.
Yeah, I guess it's not a shock to me. I moved out at 18.
Yeah, and I did too. And the fact is, your parents and my parents would have let us stay if we wanted to.
I just wanted to move out.
My parents would have let me stay for free, I'm sure. You know, I imagine yours would have as well.
Mine would have. I mean, I might have had some responsibilities, but
what I'm saying is, I don't see that as helping the kids. See, so many parents have this broken idea that if we make our kids' life harder, then it's not good for them. We're not helping them. It's like, no. You got it all backwards. them learning to overcome difficulties, them having to struggle and work hard, that is preparing them for the real world.
Yeah.
That is helping them. There is value in that. And like I said again, if you don't want to keep your kids' money when they're paying you rent when they turn 18, you don't have to. Okay? That's fine. You make up your own plan. I'm just telling you what my plan is. And I've already talked to the 3 older boys. I said, look, if all 3 of you, and this is, we're going into, we're going to hit about an hour and a half by the time I'm wrapping up. So give me 5 more minutes and I'll be done. I already told the older 3 kids, I said, look, if you guys are smart, you sock away every single dollar you can. The 3 of you go into your first property together and buy the biggest house you can possibly get with a massive master bedroom. And the 3 of you all bunk up in the master bedroom. You got it. You have your own bathroom. You keep it clean. You guys have lived with 3 of you in a bedroom your whole life.
Yeah.
It's not going to hurt you. And what you guys are going to do is you're going to rent out all the other bedrooms. Yeah. Okay. Find reasonable, hardworking, clean people that are going to be good. Right. And there are plenty of them.
Yeah.
And they're going to pay your mortgage. You're not going to have to pay a penny for that house. And then what you're going to do is you're going to save up all that money that you would be putting down toward the mortgage. And you're just going to sock it away and sock it away and sock it away. And guess what? All of a sudden, you guys are going to turn around. You're going to have enough money to buy a second.
Yeah, good idea.
But with that second one, you're going to do it again. You're just going to rent the whole thing out. And then you're going to do it again. And by the time one of you guys is old enough where it's like, okay, I've had enough of this lifestyle. I've met a girl. I want to get married. I want to settle down. Well, guess what? You have 3 houses.
Yeah, between 3 of them.
You got it. Which one's yours?
Oh.
Okay.
Smart.
So I've already told them, like, if you guys really want to get ahead, if you work together doing it, you guys could take over the world. And, if you own those 3 houses, you would still, even if you decided I'm going to get married and rent one of them, okay, you still have the income coming in from the others that you get a third share of. I think it would be a great way for them to get going. Idea. And then you have assets, income producing assets.
Yeah, that's huge.
At a young age.
Right.
We'll see if they go for it.
Good idea.
Those are and you know what? That's what I wish I was doing when I was younger. I wish I had someone like me pushing me to do those things. But here we are. And don't get me wrong. I mean, we're fans of real estate. We have a few rentals. They've been very good to us. We're saving money to buy, more rentals in the future. We're fans of it. I just wish that I got started when I was 16 instead of later in life. That's all. Okay. Any other thoughts or ideas as far as money with kids and what you want to teach them and, things of this nature? I have.
Any questions on the?
Oh, here. Well, we have one good point. So Nick wrote in that he started charging his daughter for socks that they left downstairs.
I'm going to use that.
And guess what? They no longer have socks left downstairs.
I am using that for one of our boys.
Yeah, who just takes off his shoes and socks and just throws them everywhere.
I find socks. One day I found them, I kid you not, the same person.
Yeah.
Under the couch, on the kitchen counter. I walk outside, they're in like the chicken pen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's like there's a sock in this box of cereal. Like, this has got to stop.
It was crazy. I love that.
Yeah, start charging them whatever, 50 cents a sock or something like that. See if it, if it fixes anything.
All I wanted to say, and I guess this is maybe towards the moms, and I'm hoping they're staying.
Give it to them.
Do sacrifice for your kids. Let your, I've become the number one behind the scenes. Well, I don't know what you call it. The support. I'm the support crew. For my family. I'm no longer invested in me. That's such a thing these days. It's all, what do you want to do?
And self-care and taking care of everything that I love.
That's become an extreme.
Yeah.
I do things for myself.
Yeah, you have hobbies.
I run.
Yeah, you do things that are good for you mentally and physically and emotionally. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having good, healthy things in your life.
But your life is predominantly supposed to be the support crew.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, women, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful.
Yep.
You're supposed to be the person that's helping your children and your husband get a leg up in life. And I've been doing that. I've been driving my sons who are 15 to work. For a while there, I was having to get some of them to work at 6 a.m. So we're getting up at 4:45.
Yeah.
Get in the car. And that's great. And now, and I'm glad I can do that because they are not even graduated high school yet. They're earning money, started their 401ks because I've been willing to get up and
IRAs, but it's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Stupid woman.
Moses would have corrected you. It's like, I don't have a 401k, Mom.
All I'm doing is getting them to work. I'm not the financial person. Give me a break. If I wasn't willing to do it, they wouldn't have been able to work. It wouldn't happen.
I don't have time. I'm at work.
Yeah.
Like, what am I going to do?
Not
Stop
every
working?
Woman can do it.
Yeah. Oh, and but keep in mind, folks, everything that you're hearing from Joanna and I starts out with the foundation of homeschooling.
Yeah.
Like if you're not a homeschooling family, you're like, well, what good is that to me? Well, maybe you'll figure it out and start homeschooling. How about that? Maybe you'll finally, the light bulb will go on and you'll realize that you're missing out because you're not homeschooling. I can't fix that. Okay. I can't help you with that. But I had a friend of mine ask me, so the house that I'm remodeling and the gentleman that I'm working with. So we talk a lot and he's seen the kids come over and he's seen the kids work with me and work with him and, and he's complimented us on the kids. And he's like, hey, Patrick, how are you able to get this out of your kids? I've been just struggling with being able to do that. And I look at him and I roll my eyes and I laugh and I say, you want to know the answer? Homeschool your kids. And he's like, boy, that's the truth. And I said, look, man, I hate to tell you, but my answer to everything is homeschool your kids. Like, well, how do you get your kids to work hard? Well, homeschool them. Then you have the time to work with them. You can train them whatever you want. If you don't homeschool your kids, they're just going to learn whatever stupid nonsense the government schools tells them to learn. They're going to learn how to be good BLM supporters and, and protest Israel. Okay. That's what you get if you're going to send your kids to school. So if you want them to be pinko, commie, nut job, weirdo, freak morons, keep sending them to public school. It's going to work out great.
Yeah. Okay? Sorry, everyone. I got him started on the.
But it's like, how do you get your kids to work hard? Homeschool. How do kids behave so well? Homeschool. How do you get your homeschool them?
Yeah.
Hey, Patrick, I've noticed your kids. Homeschool. If you don't do that, you don't have the time and opportunity to teach them anything. That's the secret. If you don't want to accept that, guess what? You're not, that's the recipe. If you don't want to follow my recipe, you ain't going to get what I got. Okay, good luck. I know a bunch of you think like, oh yeah, my kids will turn out wonderful in public school. All right, keep telling yourself that. No, they won't. There are going to be several things you're going to be seriously disappointed in. You're going to be wildly disappointed in. You're going to be so discouraged and sick to your stomach when you see what your kids learn and come home from public school with.
Yes.
And that's only the stuff that they'll talk to you about and you learn about. All the stuff that they learn that they don't even want to bring up to you.
It's scary. I don't want to know.
It's out of control. So
all I wanted to say is that we, as women, any women listening, you're going to have to push against the tide of popular culture. It's not about you anymore.
Yeah.
You need to sacrifice for your family. No one else is going to do it.
No.
Sacrifice for your children. The modern day influence on women is horrible. They're promoting. I don't have the words.
It's selfishness and self-centeredness
and self-worship.
Yeah.
And it's humanism.
It's all about me.
It's not.
Yeah.
You had your time.
Yeah.
You have a husband and you have children.
Yeah.
Your job is to take care of them.
You're a mom and a wife. I say the same thing to the husbands. It's like you don't get hobbies and friends anymore. Yeah. If you have time for that, that's wonderful. Okay, that's absolutely wonderful. But what comes first is your family. Your family and God, those things are what's the most important. If you happen to be well enough off and you can schedule your time and you can do other things, that's wonderful. Okay, but if your family is lacking and your relationship with God is lacking, then you are a failure as a man. Those are the things. That's what God calls you to do. It's your job. And if your kids are not doing well, if your wife is not doing well, if your family is falling apart, you're the failure, Dad. Okay, God gave you the burden. Okay, it's they call us men because it's hard. So you have to pick up the mantle. You got to pull up your the big boy pants, and you got to do your job. And it's a shame because moms and dads, neither of them want to do that. They want to keep living in this type of self-satisfying, self-fulfilling life of the flesh. And it's like, yeah, we're beyond that. We're we're more into the Jesus time where we sacrifice for others and we're selfless. Like that's the job.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Is
well put.
Okay. Sorry to not be so nice, but not sorry. Your kids need you, and if you will help them, they'll have a massive leg up in life.
Yeah, and honestly, you'll be so thrilled when people tell you that your kids are doing well, when people compliment you on it. It's going to make you so much happier than anything else, in your life.
That's where I get my satisfaction from. My self-worth is I see, thanks to me getting up and driving them and you taking them to work.
Yeah, our kids are starting to succeed. And nothing could make me more proud.
And who knows? They might become rich and take care of us.
Oh, hopefully.
Anyway,
we'll see if that happens.
I didn't want to.
Okay, everybody, thank you for joining us. We are on YouTube and Facebook Live every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Central Time. 9 p.m. Nope. 8 p.m. Mountain Time. No, that's not right either. 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Central. Please go to BibleThumperPodcast.com, get on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page, like it, follow it, share it, and wherever you listen to podcasts, you can find us. Subscribe to the podcast, like it, follow it, share it. It helps get this message in front of other people. We really do appreciate everybody that listens to us, and we'll see you next Sunday about 7 p.m. And I think, we have one more week. I don't know who's on next week, but the following one, Zach's going to be back on with me. So thanks for sticking with us. Have a great week. We'll talk to you